Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the lecture 14 and this is the chemical bonding. Now, after understanding the concept of the distribution of the electrons, we go to the further step and that is known as the chemical bonding. Now, chemical bonding is very important because majority the compounds, they need to be electronic with the noble gases. What is meant by this thing? So the point is this, that neutral atom, there are two types of electrons in the neutral atom. Okay, so one is the core electrons and the other is valence electrons. So one is the core electrons. Okay, so C-O-R-E, core, and electrons. Other, valence. Other are valence electrons. So before I dive into this, we need to understand that what is the capacity of the shells. If you remember, I told you that there are two types of shells. Number one is the duplet. And number two is the octet. Okay, so maximum capacity to hold electrons in the shell, which is known as the duplet, is 2, and hydrogen and helium. These are the two elements which needs to, they work on duplet. Okay, octet means 8. So rest जो आपके majority जो आपके non metals हैं या metals हैं, ठीक है, these obey octet rule. So इसका मतलब ये है कि the first shell of every atom of an element has duplet. सबका है ये duplet. जो octet हैं ये इसमें नहीं है. हाइड्रोजन और हीलियम में octet shells are not present, right? ये तो आपको understand करना है. Rest all have, right? So before I explain you the how the covalent bonds are formed, I need to explain you this thing, which is very important, right? So let's have some other color. Okay, I need a pen of white color. For example, sodium. Okay, so sodium, the atomic number of sodium is 11. Okay, the atomic number of sodium is 11, and second example which I will take is the example of chlorine, whose atomic number is 17, right? So it means that it has 11 electrons and 11 protons, right? It means that it has 17 electrons and 17 protons. The bonding is only related to the electrons. Protons, they are not involved in any kind of bonding, right? So, first orbital, let's start the distribution of these 11 electrons in sodium. So, first shell में आपके पास आ जाएंगे 2 electrons, right? Which is known as duplet, right? Second shell में आपके पास आ जाएंगे, the second shell which can accommodate the maximum number of electron is 8. So 8 आ गए आपके, 8 आ गए, right? So this is 1, 2, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So these are 8 electrons which I have accommodated in the second shell of sodium. Now, if I count all these electrons, so there are 10 electrons which are accommodated and 1 electron is left. Now the maximum capacity is 8. I cannot fill more than 8 electrons in the shell. First shell has the capacity of 2 electrons, and the other coming shells, they have the capacity of 8 electrons. Then I go for the third shell. Okay, then I go for the third shell and I put the remaining electron, 1 electron over here. And same is over here. So first 2 shells are same as we did in sodium, okay? And the third one has 7 electrons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, what's the point here? The point is that the maximum capacity of the electrons over here is 8, and there is only 1 electron and 7 electrons are needed. Okay, so sodium needs 7 electrons to become stable. Stability is the goal and objective of every atom. Okay, here you can see that 7 electrons are there and only 1 is required. Again, जब वो एक इलेक्ट्रॉन आ जाएगा तो क्लोरीन भी स्टेबल हो जाएगा. So that is the basic reason for the chemical bonding. It's just to complete the octet. It's just to get the stability. It's just to get to isoelectronic with the noble gases, because in the periodic table, group 8 elements which are known as noble gases, they have 8 electrons. Automatically they have 8 electrons and they are stable. So once they are stable, they are neutral. They are not going to participate in any kind of reactions. So that's the main theme in chemical bonding. Now I jump to the first kind of bonding, which is known as the covalent bond. So covalent bond जो है, it was 1916. Lewis proposed that atoms combine in order to achieve a more stable electronic configuration. The same idea which I have explained to you right now. So maximum stability results when an atom is isoelectronic with the noble gases. Now why every atom needs to isoelectronic with a noble gas? Because the noble gas has complete octet. उनके 8 electrons पूरे हैं. First में 2, second में 8, third में 8, and so on, depending upon the number of atomic numbers. Because atomic number is representing you the total number of the electrons. An electron pair that is shared between 2 atoms constitutes a covalent bond. अब बात ये है कि जो covalent bond है, the idea of the covalent bond is based on the sharing of electrons. If 2 atoms हैं, they come close enough and they share their electrons. In doing so, they get the isoelectronic configuration with the noble gas. So this is the main idea of the covalent bond. Now let's have some examples. Hydrogen की हम example लेते हैं. So hydrogen is the atomic number of hydrogen is 1. It means it has 1 electron, right? So 1 electron. So another